Hi there, welcome to From Struggle to Strength channel. In the previous video we talked about dating as a single parent. In this video we are going to talk about self-care and avoiding burnout as a single parent. You know, single parenting is tough. You juggle everything, work, kids, household, and somehow, you're expected to keep going without breaking down. We are superhumans in our own right, aren't we? But let's be real, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your kids. It's like trying to pour from an empty pitcher, you just can't do it. And we've all been there. Those moments when you're running on fumes and you just don't know how you're going to make it through the day. Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. In today's video, I'm going to share some of my self-care secrets for single parents. We're going to talk about how to prioritize yourself without guilt and prevent burnout before it takes over. Because you deserve to feel your best, not just for your kids, but for yourself too. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, recharge your batteries, and show up as the amazing parent you are, then keep watching because this one's for you. Let's get into it. Let's talk about something that I know weighs heavily on so many of you, the guilt. The guilt that creeps in when you even think about taking time for yourself. We've all been there, right? You think, my kids need me, I can't possibly take a moment for myself. But here's the truth, and listen closely, self-care is not selfish, it's survival, it's essential, it's the oxygen mask on the airplane. You have to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can help anyone else. Your kids need you at your best, not burnt out and exhausted. They need you to be present, engaged, and full of energy. And you can't do that if you're running on empty. Think of it this way, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of you makes you a better parent. It allows you to bring your A game to parenthood, every single day. I remember when my daughter, Stedman, was little, I was working so much, trying to build my career, and be a present mother. And I felt so guilty if I took even a few minutes for myself. But then I realized something. When I took care of myself, even in small ways, I was a better mother to Stedman. I had more patience, more energy, and I was just more present, and that's what your children need from you. They need you to be present, they need you to be engaged, they need you to be the best version of yourself. And you can't be that if you're running on fumes. So, let's release the guilt, okay? Let's give ourselves permission to prioritize our well-being, because when we do, everyone benefits. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that guilt? That feeling that you're not allowed to take care of yourself? Drop us in the comments if you've ever felt like you have zero time for yourself, because you are not alone. Now I know what you're thinking, Oprah, that's all well and good, but I'm a single parent. I don't have time for a spa day every week. And you know what? You're right, you probably don't have time for a spa day every week, but that's okay, because self-care doesn't have to be extravagant or time-consuming. In fact, some of the most effective self-care practices are the small daily habits that you can easily incorporate into your routine. It's about finding those little pockets of time throughout your day and dedicating them to yourself. It could be something as simple as waking up 15 minutes earlier to enjoy a cup of coffee in silence before the kids wake up, or taking a relaxing bath after you put the kids to bed. It could be reading a few pages of a good book, listening to your favorite music, or taking a walk in nature. The key is to find what works for you and make it a non-negotiable part of your day. Just like you schedule appointments and activities for your children, schedule time for yourself. Put it in your calendar and treat it with the same importance as any other appointment, because it is important. Your well-being is important. Remember, self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not about being selfish, it's about being the best parent you can be. And when you feel good, you're better equipped to handle the challenges of single parenthood. So, what's one small self-care habit that you can commit to today? What's one thing that you can do for yourself, even if it's just for a few minutes? Drop it in the comments, and let's inspire each other. What's one small self-care habit that helps you? Share it with us. Chapter 3, How to Prevent Burnout. Let's talk about burnout for a moment. Burnout is a real thing, and it can sneak up on you when you least expect it. It's that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and physically exhausted. And it's something that many single parents experience at some point in their journey, but here's the good news. Burnout doesn't happen overnight, it's a gradual process, and there are things you can do to prevent it. One of the most important things you can do is to learn to recognize the signs of burnout. Are you feeling increasingly irritable? Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you withdrawing from activities you used to enjoy? Are you feeling resentful of your responsibilities? These are all signs that you might be headed for burnout. And if you notice these signs, it's important to take action. Don't wait until you're at the breaking point. Remember, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It means you're taking care of yourself and your family. Another important aspect of preventing burnout is to set boundaries. It's okay to say no to extra commitments. It's okay to ask for help from friends, family, or a babysitter. It's okay to prioritize your own needs. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking breaks doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're wise enough to recharge before burnout takes over. It means you're being proactive about your well-being. And it means you're setting a good example for your children. So if you're feeling burned out, know that you're not alone. And know that there are things you can do to feel better. Reach out for support, set boundaries, and make self-care a priority. You deserve it. Comment fire emoji if you've ever felt like you were running on empty. Chapter 4. How to let go of guilt and prioritize yourself. Now, I know that letting go of guilt can be easier said than done. As single parents, we often put so much pressure on ourselves to be everything to everyone. We feel like we have to be strong, we have to be perfect, and we can't show any weakness. But here's the thing, we're human. We're allowed to have bad days, we're allowed to make mistakes, and we're allowed to ask for help. So, how do we let go of the guilt? It starts with giving ourselves permission to prioritize our own needs. It's about recognizing that taking care of ourselves is not selfish, it's essential. It's about understanding that we can't be the best parents we can be if we're running on empty. One way to start letting go of guilt is to reframe the way you think about self-care. Instead of viewing it as a luxury, view it as a necessity. Instead of seeing it as something you do only when you have time, see it as something you make time for, because it is that important. Another helpful tip is to start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just start with one small act of self-care each day. Maybe it's taking a few minutes to meditate, reading a chapter of a book, or going for a walk. Whatever it is, make it something you enjoy and something that makes you feel good. And remember, it's okay to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out to friends, family, or a babysitter when you need a break. It takes a village to raise a child, and there's no shame in asking for support. Your kids need a parent who is mentally and emotionally present, not just physically there. They need you to be engaged, to be present in the moment, and to be able to enjoy your time together. And you can't do that if you're feeling guilty, overwhelmed, and exhausted. Make self-care a priority. You deserve it. Drop a blue heart emoji in the comments if you're committing to taking better care of yourself. You deserve it. Remember this, you are not just a parent, you are a human being who deserves love, care, and rest. Self-care isn't optional, it's necessary, it's not selfish, it's essential. And it's the key to being the best parent you can be. So, give yourself permission to prioritize your well-being. You deserve it, and so do your children. This was step 7 of my single parent success blueprint. We've covered so much ground together, and I'm so proud of you for taking this journey with me. Next up, we're wrapping up the series with a final recap, so hit subscribe, and let's celebrate how far you've come. What's the first self-care habit you'll start today? Drop it in the comments. Watch the final recap of the single parent success blueprint.